Hello and welcome YouTube, this is Cookie Monster of ProForgeRacing, bringing you the results and highlights for the 4th Dirty Racing League tournament. The first map here is Journey by Nuked Ice Cream. Right there, the first turn was quite chaotic because it's such a sharp and, turn that comes out of nowhere. I apologize again that this video is a little bit late as well. Last night we raced the 6th tournament. The reason this one is so late is because I've been sick the past 4 or 5 days. You might still be able to hear it in my voice. I'm a little bit nasally. I've been really sick, so I haven't been able to record audio, but now I can. Anyways, right here on Journey, you can see AYM and Jeff are side by side, and they end up slamming D-Mage into a wall, causing him to get past. Right here, Jeff starts to go sideways. AYM tries to wreck him, but he ends up flipping himself, and then he recovers in the river, and he keeps going, and right there you can see me catching up to him, and then I tail whip him and wreck him into a wall, which was hilarious. Right here you can see Edward. He's trying to pass Jeff and ends up flipping himself, and his mongoose goes through the checkpoint, but Edward does not. And if you go through our checkpoints, you automatically die. So I came in right behind him, and I pushed him through it, so he had to go through it. He had no choice, and right there, that's his view from inside the rock where Nuked Ice Cream put the receiver node for the teleporter. So, it's kind of funny that you can see right inside there. Right here, Odie Suzuki tries his hardest to catch up to Clipstrew, and he doesn't even break, and he's going so fast, and he hits the wall. And right here, you can see Bean, Jeff, and Eduardo, which is King Edward. They're all battling it out at the end for the home stretch. But the final positions were Whiskey Worm, Bean 05, Jeff H3962, King Edward I, Cookie Monster, AYM X Famacity, D-Mage 59663, Odie Suzuki, Clipstrew, and X Deathlord X in 10th. Obviously, that is the lineup for this tournament. Those are the 10 racers. I didn't mention that at the beginning, sorry about that, but those are the 10 racers who were in this one. Whiskey ended up coming in first, as he always does, and he waited for about a minute until Odie Suzuki and Clipstrew came in. This next map here is called Bowser's Castle by Turbtastic, who remakes a lot of Mario Kart 64 tracks. I guess he remade all of them in Halo Reach, and he's remade a bunch so far in Halo 4. So we're trying some out. This was a really good race. The track was a little bit long, and we did 10 laps, so if we use it again, we're not going to do 10 laps, because that was just way too many. But, it was still a really fun race, just very long. It's a very good remake, though. Everything is accurate. He even has a nice looking Bowser. He's got the womps with little faces. It's adorable. Right here you can see Odie Suzuki is a beast, and he wrecks AYM, and then he wrecks Deathlord. So he's kind of just being a tank right there. Right here, AYM gets his revenge because he sends Suzuki flying off the track. Right there. And then right after that, Bean wrecks me into the wall right next to them. So there's like 4 of us piled up off the track. Right here you can see Bean and Deathlord side by side going into a turn, so then you know there's going to be trouble, and Deathlord ends up destroying Bean and passing him. He caused Bean to lose 3 positions. Deathlord ends up falling off the track here. That's why I'm following his point of view, kind of, and he ends up teleporting because his teleporter's on this track instead of kill barriers, and when he teleports to an earlier part of the track, he ends up landing right in front of Bean and Jeff, and they kind of destroy him. And then right here you can see D-Mage tries his hardest to pass Suzuki and hits a wall, and when he backs up, he destroyed Deathlord, which was funny. The positions were Whiskey, Edward, Jeff, or Eduardo, Jeff, Cookie Monster, Bean, Deathlord, Suzuki, D-Mage, Clipstrew, and AYM. Right there you can see Eduardo obnoxiously doing donuts, because he and Whiskey in first and second were so far ahead of everyone else that he had that much time to do like 20 donuts. But so yeah, that was another great race. It was something a little bit different because we mostly do terrain tracks, but recently we've been doing a lot more different types of maps that have some sky parts, maps that are kind of designed for the DRL. We've done in more recent tournaments. Right here, this is Lowline by Whiskey Worm. Right, you'll see in a minute that Jeff causes a huge pile up right here on the overview on the first lap. Right there, he turned, and I don't know if you can see how many people are stopped right there, because the pieces, the walls are so dark, it almost looks like it's a wall as opposed to like the ramp, and it's a ramp going to a sky section. But this is a great Whiskey Worm map. Every Whiskey Worm map's great, but this one was a lot of fun, and another great map for the tournament. Low Line, which is different than Lackluster, which is his other map on here. Right here, this was lap 1, actually, where I wrecked Deathlord into the rocks, and he lost 3 positions. Right here, Edward flips, I jumped him, and then D-Mage hits him and ended up messing himself up. Again here, Eduardo, he's trying to take Deathlord into a wall, but he only messes himself up, and then D-Mage and Suzuki come flying in behind them. Right here, AYM wrecks himself, and then Suzuki does the same thing. And when AYM recovers, right here, Deathlord ends up going behind him, and he does like a cute little spin. Right here, Suzuki wrecks himself again, and Deathlord comes and flips his mongoose, so he kind of like double wrecks. And then that same pipe ends up taking out Bean and Clipstrew almost at the same time. So that pipe was just deadly this tournament. Whiskey ended up waiting over a minute at the end here for Clipstrew, who wrecks himself before the end, driving straight into the line. But the positions were Whiskey, Jeff, Bean, King Edward, Cookie, AYM, Deathlord, D-Mage, OD, Suzuki, and Clipstrew in 10th. Whiskey Worm is obviously a beast. He won our first 3 straight tournaments, and this one you will see the result whether he won or whether he did not win. But all 3 tournaments I've made videos for before this, he has won. And anyways, this next map here is Reaper SX, another Supercross track by X-Rains. This one was incredible for the Dirty Racing League. We did experience a little bit of lag on this one, I think. Not the map's fault, just due to connection. None of the maps we've ever played have had any frame rate lag, which is awesome because that would be terrible when you're trying to race. But this was a very chaotic map, lots of wrecks. I think I only got 3 or 4 clips for the highlights, but they were all really good clips, so don't worry about that. They were like big pile-ups and stuff like that. But again, another fun X-Rains track. Almost all of his maps have been successful in the DRL so far. Right here in a battle for first, I wrecked Deathlord, but somehow he still came out ahead of me. And then Deathlord flips himself, and which you'll see in a second, and he allows me to pass him. So we were battling it out pretty well. Right here, Deathlord had ended up passing me, so I took him out, and Edward does a perfect barrel roll, and Cookie kind of messes up in the process, and then AYM fails the jump, and Whiskey does a wheelie over the berm, so that was kind of crazy. Right here, AYM and Whiskey are neck to neck for a tie, and then Clipstrew messes up in front of them, and he ended up flipping AYM and allowed Whiskey to pass him. Right here, Deathlord and Whiskey are kind of battling it out, and Deathlord ends up flying off the track right there, and that allowed Whiskey to pass. And then right up here, Cookie Monster right there, you could see I tail whipped AYM for a nice pass on him. So those were all really good highlights in my opinion. The positions for this one were King Edward in first, Jeff in second, Whiskey in third, Deathlord in fourth, myself in fifth, AYM in sixth, Bean in seventh, D-Mage in eighth, OD Suzuki in ninth, and Clipstrew again in 10th. This was Clipstrew's first tournament. Often people having their first tournament, they're just not as used to racing, and so it's harder, but they end up doing a lot better. Right there, the 3 winners end up hopping on the podium, which is kind of funny. This next map was Up on the Rooftop by myself and Nuked Ice Cream, and this map was pretty good, but there wasn't a whole lot of DRLing going on because it's a short track, and I guess there's not that many turns that are DRL-ish. The track itself worked well, it's just not a whole lot of DRLing going on. Right here, Jeff gets a nice pass, if you can see that on the notorious Whiskey Worm. And then right here, Edward and Whiskey kind of take Bean into the wall, and he causing him to flip out and get past. Right here, Clipstrew hits a wall. He did at the beginning of the very beginning. He did that, and he messed me up. He messed up my whole race by doing that. And right there, he did it to get passed by. Lapped actually by Whiskey and Edward. He got lapped. The positions were D-Mage in first, Jeff, Whiskey, Edward, Deathlord, Bean, Cookie Monster, OD Suzuki, Clipstrew, and AYM X Famacity. So D-Mage came out on top, and he was at the bottom for most of the other races, so that was really awesome to see him, really coming out and coming alive in this race. This last race is Frost by Nuked Ice Cream, and this was an incredible race between myself and Whiskey Worm. We had a lot of battles on this one, and it's a pretty short track, but so much fun. But the first highlight will be coming up here in a second after everyone finishes. And the last turn was deadly. Right here, Deathlord flips in the checkpoint, and it causes Bean to flip, and Bean loses several positions behind him. But they were lucky they didn't fall off their mongooses in the checkpoint, because it would have teleported them. Right here, in midair, D-Mage kind of takes out Jeff and pushes Jeff into a wall, if you can see that. Right here, Whiskey and Cookie are side by side. Whiskey wrecks me into a wall, and then D-Mage wrecks himself off of me. So Whiskey started like a chain reaction kind of thing right there. Right here, Whiskey messes himself up, allowing me to catch up, and then I destroy Whiskey right here. Look at that, I wreck Whiskey into the wall, and I got my revenge, causing Whiskey to lose 6 positions. That was pretty brutal. Right here, D-Mage and Whiskey both flip themselves, and then they just both keep going. They do like the same thing, but it didn't really affect them. Clipstrew ends up flipping himself right here and goes through the teleporter into the magical place, as I like to call it. You can see his point of view right there inside the rock, and he just falls into a black abyss. Right here, poor Clipstrew again. He's having a tough race. Bean takes him into a wall and wrecks him right there. And this last one here, Whiskey, he needed to finish 2 places behind Jeff to win by 1. If he was 3 behind Jeff, he would win. He would tie him. Whiskey was 3 behind him and tried to get 2 behind him so he could win by 1 point. AYM Exfamacity wrecked Whiskey Worm. So Whiskey Worm ended up finishing 4 places behind Jeff in the tournament overall, or in this race. And so the positions for this race were King Edward, Jeff, Cookie Monster, AYM, Deathlord, Whiskey Worm, Odie Suzuki, D-Mage, Bean, and Clipstrew. And since AYM wrecked him and didn't let him pass, if Whiskey had finished, instead of trying to pass AYM, he would have tied Jeff. If he had passed AYM, he would have beaten Jeff. But instead of just taking the tie, Whiskey ends up losing by 1 point. Right here you can see the points. Jeff had 88, Whiskey had 87, Edward only one behind with 86, I had 73, Bean had 70, Deathlord had 65, D-Mage had 62, AYM had 60, Odie Suzuki had 52, and Clipstrew had 45. You get 16 points for first. In each position below that, you get 1 point per race. And those were the totals. But this was an excellent tournament. If you want to sign up, go to halotracks.org, forums, HT Squads, HT Dirty Racing League, DRL Members List, sign up. Then at the top of that forum page, go to Open Tournaments, and you'll see any available tournaments at the top. You'll see our newest tournaments. You can sign up there. I hope to see a whole bunch of new racers. These tournaments are a blast. They're competitive, we keep score, but we still keep them fun. So thank you guys very, very much for watching.